Today I'm going to be eating what could be the biggest fish and chips in the UK. Now I love fish and chips, so I can't wait. So let's go try it. Now the place I'm going to be eating at is pretty fitting, because this fish and chip shop is probably one of the biggest too. It's called Murgatroyds and is located in this massive green building with the words fish and chips in giant lettering to not leave you in any doubt as to what they serve here. Let's head in. The inside is well decorated. It feels modern but has classical features. There's loads of seating available throughout with your regular tables and chairs, and you have booths too if you fancy something a little more comfy. I was seated at a table as it's just me. The menu is just as large as this place is big. They have various 2 or 3 course meals and even do pizzas if you fancy something a bit different. But come on, who goes to a fish and chip shop and doesn't order fish and chips? Not me, because today I'm going for the largest fish option, the big one, right there, which comes with a pot of tea and some bread and butter that you can see in the background. I'll for sure be making some sandwiches with them later. This tea set comes with 2 teapots, which is unusual. I'm guessing one is just hot water to top up your teapot. One great thing I like about tea here is that they give you 2 tea bags. In most of the places you only get 1 tea bag, no matter how big the pot is, which can end up with the tea being not very strong as there's too much water for the tea, but not in here. So with that said, let's make a quick cup before the food arrives. Right, so here is the fish and chips I ordered. This is definitely the biggest fish I've ever seen, probably twice the size of a regular one. But let's have a closer look at what I ordered. You have the absolutely giant piece of fish. I can't wait to try that out. You have a good portion of chips, which may look small, but that's only because the fish is so big. I got a curry sauce on the side, and then you have the mushy peas and bread and butter that's included in the meal. Although I'm not sure if I'm going to have room for that now after seeing the fish. Let's dig in. I'm going to start off with adding some salt and vinegar, and a lot of it. In fact, who knows, I might have to end up using all of it just to cover the fish. The first thing I'm going to try is the chips. They're the classic thick chip shop chips. They've got a good amount of colour on them. Let's see how they taste. Delicious. The outside has a nice bite and chew to it. There's not much of a crisp, and if there is, it's only slight. The inside is soft and fluffy. You get a good floury texture and strong potato flavour. This is your classic chip shop chip, but done right. Let's move on to some of the sides and start with the mushy peas. It's a good thick texture, which I like. The colour is not too bright and overly artificial. There's a nice bit on this chip. Let's go in for a bite. Fantastic. This mushy peas has been seasoned, which is not always the case. You get a strong pea flavour and I think some salt and vinegar in there too. The texture is part of the eating, and I always like it thick like this as opposed to the more runnier version. So for me, this is spot on. Next up we have the curry sauce. Again, the texture looks thick, which is how I like it to be. It just coats the chip better. And this one, I think I'm gonna like. Let's find out. Amazing. You get a nice curry flavour in there and a bit of a kick, which is not too strong, so the perfect balance. There's one last sauce I need to try before I move on to the fish, and that's the tartar sauce. I usually do prefer the fresher kind, which I would have thought this place would have done, rather than the sachet ones, but it does look like a premium sachet, and I think I may have had this before. So let's see how good it is by comboing it with a chip. Delicious. It's creamy and there's a sour tang to it that just helps it cut through the oiliness of the chip. This is definitely something you need to keep each bite fresh so you can get all the way through this meal. Okay, I think we've waited long enough. It's time for the fish. It absolutely dwarfs the plate. In fact, everyone who walked past gasped and probably thought he's not finishing that. Let's see if I can prove them wrong and cut into this fish. With a fish knife no less. No normal knives here. The fish is so big I had to stack one section of it on top of the other just so you can see it. And what a sight that is. I've cut off a piece with both the batter and the fish itself. I can't wait to try this. So let's just go ahead and do it. Incredible. The batter is crispy, so you get a good crunch as you bite into it. It's full of flavour too, so I'm guessing it's probably cooked in beef dripping, which is always more tasty. The fish inside is soft, succulent and tasty. The fish used in this bigger meal is haddock, so you get a strong fish flavour as opposed to what you would with, say, cod. I want to try out the haddock on its own just to get a sense of the flavours. The size of this fish is just so big that it makes you think you're eating a fish steak, if you can imagine that, because every time you cut into it you get these big chunks of fish. Let's eat it. Amazing. The fish manages to be soft and delicate, yet meaty at the same time. Let's try out just the batter on its own, as it's just as important as the fish. You can't have a good fish without a good batter. So let's try this one. Delicious. The crispy texture along with the meaty flavour combined with all the salt and vinegar, it's just a great flavour combination. Speaking of which, I think it's combo bite time. This first one is the fish and the chips, all dipped in the curry sauce. I can't wait to eat it. Let's do it. Incredible. I have to do one with the mushy piece too. I don't know if this can top the last bite, but let's see if it can. Amazing. And just to keep it fresh, we have to do one with the tartar sauce. The creamy tangy flavour helps cut through the oiliness of this meal. Here it goes. Fantastic. I almost forgot, we still have the bread and butter, so I think this means we need to make a fish and chip butty. I'm going to add some curry sauce into mine and give it that flavour boost and kick. The lid goes on, and I think there's only one thing left to do. Take a bite. Delicious. Just when I thought it couldn't get any better, I think the bread has done it. This definitely needs to be done if you come here. What an amazing meal this was. Sometimes when you make things bigger, you can lose a bit of the quality. That is not the case here. I was a bit skeptical at the start before trying it, but that skepticism is all gone. Just one criticism though. If you're gonna get this meal, as said in Jaws but applied here, you're gonna need a bigger table. Anyway, I comboed all the way to the end. But did I manage to finish it? What an amazing fish and chips that was. Everything was delicious. I have to admit, it's probably the biggest fish and chips I've ever had in my life, and I couldn't finish it. I had to get a takeaway bag. So the total cost of that meal was £26.20. Was that worth it? Comment down below your thoughts. For me, it definitely was, and I'll for sure be getting that again, but probably the regular size version. Okay, if you like this video, click on the thumbs up icon below and click on subscribe to come along for the next food journey, and I'll see you there.